if you want to change your life, you need accountability, you need support at least once a week for an hour. Welcome to the Connect Method Parenting Podcast, where correction is out, connection is in, and your kids want to listen to you. I'm Andy Martineau, creator of Connect Method Parenting, here to help you stay calm, confident, and connected no matter what. Hey, everybody. What I have learned over my many years of doing this work is that if you want to change your life, your parenting, your relationships, how you show up in the world, if you want to stop the patterns that aren't working, you need accountability, you need support at least once a week for an hour. Because you can change the trajectory of your relationship with your kids or yourself or your spouse if you're willing to make this commitment. I've seen it happen over and over again with the parents I work with. It might seem unrealistic, but it's just a combination of three things. One is learning the concepts of Connect Method Parenting, learning a new way of doing something. Two, having them reinforced through repetition. And three, applying what you're learning into your real life. So it's learning, repetition, and application. And I want to give you some background on how I discovered this for myself, because honestly, this whole thing I'm about to offer you, it's based on what's worked in my life more than anything else. And now, because it worked so well in my life, I've done it with my clients for years and years, and it's worked magnificently. So first, a little confession. I'm a coaching junkie. I don't mean I just listen to podcasts or consume content about personal growth or parenting growth, although I do all of those things. I read the books, I listen to the podcasts, I get the training. I am a self-improvement junkie. What I'm talking about when I say I'm a coaching junkie specifically is I get coached. I put myself in situations where either I'm in the hot seat, really looking at my life, or I'm able to observe someone else do the same thing. I love having someone see me and hear me and help me work through my actual stuff. And I'm on calls where that is possible for me, or I'm hearing other people do it. They're getting coached. And when I'm hearing someone else get coached, I'm applying it to my life. And I'm figuring out how I can use what they're getting coached on to make my life better. And what I've learned about myself is at the times in my life when I have transformed the most, when I have actually changed instead of just learning the things. I love learning the things. I love watching a good informative YouTube video or podcast or reading a really good book. I love that. But the times where I've transformed the most is when I am committed to showing up for coaching every single week. And I'm committed to learning from the coaching, whether it's mine or it's being given to someone else. I decide it's all for me, and I try to apply everything I've learned. Sometimes that's been in a one-on-one situation. Sometimes that has been in a group situation, but that weekly commitment to show up, to be accountable, to listen to others getting coached, to get coached myself, and to apply everything to my life at some level, that's the times in my life when things really change. Right now, personally, I meet with a group of 5 other amazing coaches every single week. We've been meeting on Tuesday. We're about to switch to Monday, but we've been meeting together for years. We coach each other. We support each other. We keep each other accountable. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that it has been one of the most valuable things I have done in my life. That hour we spend together every single week where I show up and I'm seen and I'm heard and I'm vulnerable and I talk about what's not working and I process what's actually going on in my life. It keeps me on track in a way that nothing else does. So here's what's wild. I've been teaching Connect Method Parenting for 7 years now. It's crazy. And I created a new course, a mini 8-week parenting course. You've probably heard me talk about it here on the podcast before, the Pivot. In 2024 is when we launched that. And I've always offered coaching with my programs, always. The Pivot comes with access to group coaching calls. And then phase 2, learning about CMP with me, which I call CMP Mastery, has coaching built into it too. But I've never done it the way I'm doing it with Pivot Live. And we're rolling out groups inside of CMP Mastery where we're trying this out as well. And what I'm specifically talking about are these small groups that are highly accountable, that meet every single week, where everyone commits to showing up at a specific day and a time, and they show up and we do work. We dive into ourselves. We see each other. This format that has transformed my life the most, deciding to show up and do coaching every single week. It's what I personally value more than anything else. And I've offered it, but not in a way where you declare, I will be there every week and I will be accountable to this group and I will show up to get coached and learn from coaching. The coaching has always been inside of a bigger context. It's been optional, like here's the course. And oh, by the way, you can also come to coaching calls if you want. And it's been great. Don't get me wrong. I love doing it that way too. But there was never a commitment to showing up every single week. Never a small dedicated group going through it together for a set amount of time. And here's what I've noticed happens when coaching becomes optional, when we don't prioritize it. First of all, that's what's going to happen when we don't make the commitment because our brain likes to do the easy thing. It doesn't want to push ourselves. It doesn't want to be uncomfortable. So when it's optional, it's hard to continue to prioritize it and to be held accountable in the same way. Still love group coaching, big group coaching calls, and this will be group coaching, what I'm talking about with Pivot Live, but just in a more committed way. So what I have noticed and why I'm changing it up and doing this little experiment, because I don't know if I'm going to do Pivot Live again in 2026, but I'm going to do it at the end of 2025 and just see the magic. I know it's going to be magical and then I'll have to decide what we're going to do next. But what I have noticed when I haven't had people commit is a lot of people will say, oh, I'll watch the modules this week and maybe I'll come to one call when things calm down. And then oftentimes they'll watch all the modules. They'll understand the concepts conceptually. They'll be nodding along. They'll say to me, yes, I get it. Behavior is information, unconditional positive regard. That's what I want to do. Connection before correction. I get this, but I'm not able to do it, Andy. They'll show up for a call. They're typing the discussion boards. I'm really struggling, which by the way, this is totally normal. There is a lag between knowing and doing. That's where coaching comes in. And they'll tell me, yeah, Tuesday afternoon when my kid refused to put on their shoes, I found myself yelling again, saying, why do you always make life so difficult for everyone? And that's because there's this gap, this massive gap between understanding something intellectually and actually being able to implement it in the moment when you're triggered and your kid is pushing every button you have and your nervous system wants to go into fight or flight. So what actually closes the gap? In my experience, and I've seen this with hundreds and hundreds of parents now and with myself, it's a commitment to weekly coaching, a commitment to showing up every single day and inspecting your brain with other people present. It's having a place where you can show up every single week and you can say, okay, this is what happened this week. This is where I completely lost it. And now we work together on it. Not once a month when you remember, not whenever it's convenient, every single week. Here's what happens with weekly coaching. Let's say Monday morning, you have a terrible situation go down with your kids when you're getting ready for school. You yell, you threaten, you feel awful, all your old patterns are kicking in and you're spiraling in guilt after they go to school. But you know that on Wednesday you have your Pivot Live call. So you don't just sit in that guilt spiral. You make some notes about what happened. You think about what you want to work through. And on Wednesday you bring it. You bring it to the group and we coach on it. And then maybe Thursday a similar morning happens, but you handle it slightly better because you processed the Monday situation before the Thursday situation happened. So it's fresh. The concepts are alive in your mind. And next Wednesday, when you get to celebrate that little bit of progress, your brain thinks, okay, this is working. I can do this. That's the rhythm. Mess up, process, try again, mess up, process it, try it again every single week. That's how patterns actually change, not through willpower, not just because we know better, but through consistent support and repetition. Now you might be asking, why haven't I done it specifically like this with this level of accountability, this level of commitment before? Well, I think I haven't structured it this way before because I was trying to help everyone. I wanted to make programs that could reach as many struggling parents as possible. So I made these programs, I created these courses, and I didn't want anybody to feel like they couldn't be included if they couldn't commit. And so that's what I created. And I will say that those things are really valuable. It's totally fine if somebody does want to come in and just do the pivot on their own. They can. It's very valuable information just consumed that way, but not as valuable as I want to create moving forward. Even though letting the coaching and the accountability be a little more optional and giving people access to really good information is helpful because it helps people, but it doesn't allow people to progress at the same speed and with the same ability when they're not in this small committed group showing up together every single week for a specific period of time. There's something about knowing the same people are going to be there every single call, that you're going to see them, that you're going to have to talk to them. You're going to get to know each other and the struggles and celebrate your wins with you. That creates a level of accountability and support you just can't get in a drop-in format. And I know this because I live this. My weekly group of 5 women, we know each other, we can't hide, and we don't want to hide because that commitment is what keeps us growing. So Pivot Live is me finally offering the thing that I know works because it works for me. So starting November 16th, we're going to meet every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And this will take us through the middle of January because we'll skip Thanksgiving and we'll skip Christmas. This will be a small group. I'm going to limit it. Cameras are going to be on. You're going to commit to showing up every single week, and it's going to be amazing. Now, there are basically 2 ways to do Pivot Live depending on where you're at. If you're new to Connect Method Parenting, if you've never gone through the Pivot before, you'll go through the course week by week with the group. You'll watch the lessons. They will release on Sunday. You'll be able to watch them, apply, do the stuff in the app. We have a really cool custom app where you can implement the work and do some of the daily practices and apply with your actual kids. You'll be able to have some struggles between Sunday and Wednesday. You're going to not learn in isolation, and you're going to learn the concepts, and then you're going to come and talk about them with us and get coached on them and hear other people talk about them and get coached on them on Wednesday. So you're learning and immediately getting support on implementation. If you've already done the pivot, maybe even multiple times, you can join as what I'm calling a repeater. You don't need to rewatch all the modules unless you want to. You just can show up to the live calls every week with whatever you're working on, because here's what I know about this work. You hear it differently every single time, depending on what stage you're in, what your kids are doing, and where you are on your own journey. So you can rewatch all the modules and learn on a whole new level, or you can just come to the calls implementing what you've already learned. And here's what's different from how I've done things before. I'm asking you to commit to showing up every single week, not come when you can, not drop in if it works for your schedule, but block off Wednesdays at 1 for every week of the pivot. It's 8 weeks long, so you're going to commit to being there. If there's an emergency and you can't come, I'm not going to kick you out. And I'm not going to say, don't join Pivot Live if you know you're going to be out of town 1 week. I get it. Life's crazy, especially this time of year. Lots of things going on. But you are going to commit to coming and try your best to come every week. If there's a week you know you can't come, let me know ahead of time. We'll work some stuff out. I know that might feel like a lot. You're busy. Your schedule's crazy between Thanksgiving and all the holidays that happen in December. I totally understand. We're going to be traveling for Thanksgiving and Christmas this year. It's going to be crazy for me too. It is going to be crazy. It's my first year having a daughter-in-law join us for Christmas. I'm so excited. It's also the perfect time of year to be held accountable and to be supported, because I believe the busier we get, the more accountability and support we need. And I promise you, it's in that commitment that transformation happens. When you know you're going to be there every Wednesday, you engage differently, you implement differently, you can't hide from yourself. It's the difference between saying, I should exercise more, and actually signing up for that weekly yoga class that's on your calendar, your alarm is set, your mat is laid out, you've got childcare for your kids, and your car is full of gas. One is just a nice idea, and the other creates actual change because you've committed. So let me be clear what this is not. This is not another course to consume, even though you can watch the pivot at your own pace, because all of the core lessons for the pivot are pre-recorded, so you can watch them on your own. But it's not just another course to consume. I don't want you to think about this as Netflix for parenting. And this is not me teaching at you for 8 weeks. This is you bringing your real parenting struggles, learning valuable principles and foundations that are based in attachment theory, and then us coaching through them together. It's not a huge community where you can hide in the back. It's a small group where you will be seen and you will be known and you will be supported. It's not an optional or drop-in. It's a commitment. You're committing to yourself and to your kids to show up every single week. And that's exactly what makes it work. Now, I told you about my group of 5 women. Now, let me tell you what that actually does for me. That hour every week, it keeps me accountable to be the human and parent I want to be. It keeps me from sliding back into old reactive patterns. It gives me a place to process the hard stuff without judgment. But it's not even just the coaching in the moment. It's knowing for me every week when I show up with those women, I can talk about something hard that happened with my daughter. I have a place to bring it. And that knowledge alone helps me pause more instead of react. It helps me stay focused on the future instead of on the past, because I can say to myself, okay, a lot is coming up. Okay, I have a place, I have a time, I have a day where I'm going to figure this out. So I can just write down some notes and I can process it with my group. And that's what I want to give you in Pivot Live, that weekly anchor, that place where you can bring your real life and get real support. So here's how it works. Every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, you're going to get on a Zoom call. It's just a Zoom link. You'll put it in your calendar. When it's time, you'll click the link and you'll be there. I'll start each call reviewing a quick concept or a quick teaching, depending on what's coming up with the group or what we are learning about that week in the pivot. Maybe we're focusing on the nervous system or someone's had a question about triggers. We'll talk about that for just a few minutes, but most of the time is going to be for coaching. It's going to be set aside to allow you to bring up actual situations with your kids. The thing that happened on Monday morning or yesterday afternoon or this morning just before we logged in to Zoom to have our call, and you can raise your hand and you can get coached. Or you can just listen and learn from other people's situations. Both are so incredibly valuable. Sometimes watching someone else get coached on their problems, on their kids' meltdowns, on what they're struggling with is going to help you understand your life even better, because you won't be in the hot seat, but what they are talking about might be something that is exactly what you need to hear, and you're able to integrate it and hear it differently because you're not in the hot seat. Sometimes that's the best way to learn. So you're going to take turns. So it's going to be 8 weeks where we meet on Wednesdays, 1 hour, your real life. And yes, you're going to get the recordings if you can't make it live, or if you want to rewatch something. Life happens, and sometimes you might not be able to make it. Kids get sick. Work things come up, but I'm telling you, showing up live is where the magic happens. That's where you feel the community. That's where you can't hide from yourself. The investment is $199 for the 8 weeks. You get all the live calls, all the recordings, access to the group. And if you've already done the pivot before, I have a repeater discount code for you. So just email us at pivot@connectmethodparenting.com and we'll send that over to you. No matter if you've never done this before or you want to come repeat, it's going to be so worth it. Both to review all the material and also to get this live small group coaching component, the accountability. It's going to be amazing. So if you're brand new, the cost includes access to the pivot, all the materials. You can go watch them. Every Sunday, a new lesson will release, so you can watch it, apply, ask questions on Wednesday. Now we're going to start November 16th. That's a Sunday, meaning that's when the first lesson will unlock for you. It'll give you 3 days to watch the lesson. And then we're going to meet every Wednesday through the entire course, except for Thanksgiving and Christmas, obviously. Having 8 calls in total. It'll take us to mid-January. Now, here's something I want to be honest about. I'm experimenting with this format because I think this is going to be the most effective way to help you all change. So I'm going to pour myself into Pivot Live. I'm going to focus on this and see if this model gives the people the transformation I believe it will, which means if you want to be a part of this, now is the time. This might become something that I do moving forward, how I do everything moving forward. I don't know. It might be a one-time thing, but either way, I don't want you to miss out on this if this is what you need. If your mind is saying it's a busy time of year, you're absolutely right, and you need this more than ever when you're busy. Just pop on for an hour a week. That's all I'm asking. And then apply while you're parenting, which you're going to do anyway. No extra time required. There are some daily exercises that take about 15 minutes, and then the lessons that we listen to every week, which is about an hour. Okay. In the next episode of this series, I'm going to break down the actual concepts we'll be working on, the core ideas from Connect Method Parenting that will change everything when you really get them. And then in episode 3, I'll talk about why doing this with other parents instead of alone is going to make such a huge difference. But for now, I just want you to understand this. I'm offering you the exact thing that has transformed my life and my parenting. Weekly coaching in a small group format, real commitment, not just another course to consume, not just another book to read, not an Instagram post to screenshot or save and then forget about. Actual support every single week for the entire 8-week program, talking about real kids, real life, real struggles. So here's what I need you to ask yourself. Are you tired of knowing what to do, but not being able to do it consistently. Are you done trying to figure this out alone? Are you ready to actually change instead of just learning more? If yes, then Pivot Live is the perfect thing for you. We're going to start again November 16th. And then that Wednesday, the 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to meet. We're going to get to know each other, and we're going to change our lives. 8 weeks of live coaching with a small committed group. So you can go to CMP, which stands for Connect Method Parenting, but just the initials cmp.works/pivot. I'll put the link in the show notes as well. And in the next episode, I'm going to walk you through the specific concepts we'll be working on, the ideas that when you really understand and apply them will transform everything. But I'll tell you right now, these concepts alone won't change your parenting. I could summarize them to you in a couple of hours. The transformation comes from the weekly application and support. And that's what Pivot Live is. That's what I'm offering you. That's what I know works because it's what works for me. All right, I'll see you in the next episode. And hopefully I'll see you all on November 16th and then meeting live on November 19th. Okay, see you later, everybody. Have an amazing day. Go connect with your kids. We'll talk to you soon. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, come check out my Connect Method Parenting Coaching Program, where we take this material and we apply it using my proven formula. Head over to cmp.works/join.